If you think you've seen it all when it comes to horror, think again. Tubi has quietly become a treasure trove for the most disturbing, bone-chilling films to unsettle you. From slow-burn psychological nightmares to grotesque body horror, these titles aren't for the faint of heart. Today we bring some of the most terrifying horror on Tubi, the kind that will test your nerves and possibly your stomach. Ready to be scared? Comment your favorite below and don't forget to subscribe for more. Kill List. Kill List begins deceptively as a gritty British crime drama, then turns out to be a terrifying horror. Released in 2011 and directed by Ben Wheatley, the film follows two ex-soldiers who take on contract killing jobs. At first, the targets seem like part of a routine hitman narrative with shady businessmen and corrupt individuals. But as the story progresses, cracks in reality start to come out. The plot slowly develops into something much darker and inexplicably sinister. The violence in Kill List is brutal yet grounded, but it's the creeping dread that will terrify you at every scene. Wheatley builds tension through quiet domestic moments and sudden outbursts. The story culminates in an ending that shocks even seasoned horror fans. The final reveal is so disturbing that it redefines everything you've just watched. If you want a horror experience that lures you in before punching you in the gut, Kill List delivers a relentless psychological blow. Excision.
There has been downright sociopathic. I don't know a teenager who doesn't profile as a sociopath.
Excision is one of those horror films that doesn't just unsettle you, it actively gets under your skin. Directed by Richard Bates Jr., this 2012 horror stars Annalyn McCord, who delivers a startlingly transformative performance as Pauline. Pauline is a disturbed and delusional high school student who dreams of becoming a surgeon. Her fantasies, however, are drenched in gore and surgical imagery, blurring the line between aspiration and obsession.
We are praying for a miracle.
Living under the strict control of her religious mother, played with utter emotion by Tracy Lords, Pauline's reality becomes increasingly twisted. The film juggles black comedy and psychological horror, but when it turns dark, it gets really deep. The graphic surgical dream sequences are quite bloody and disturbing, making them hard to forget. Praised for its originality and McCord's fearless performance, the film brings a climax that is both tragic and horrifying, and will haunt you for days. Starry Eyes.
In the earth, join us in the skies.
Starry Eyes is a cautionary tale wrapped in the skin of Hollywood ambition. Directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, the film stars Alex Esso as Sarah, a struggling actress desperate to land her big role. After a series of unsuccessful auditions, Sarah finds herself being chosen by a big production company, but with sinister intentions. At first, the changes in her life seem like the price of success, but soon her transformation takes a grotesque body horror turn. Esso's performance captures both vulnerability and growing menace, making Sarah's descent disturbingly believable.
A wall and a lobby of a movie theater with a marquee. Kill your old.
The film works on multiple levels. It's a critique of Hollywood's exploitative nature, and it's also a chilling supernatural horror. The creeping dread builds slowly until the final act explodes in gore and terror. This film may not be a mainstream hit, but Starry Eyes won over horror festival audiences, being praised for its unsettling atmosphere and biting social commentary. Frankenstein's Army. Frankenstein's Army is a wild, grotesque ride into a bizarre world. This 2013 horror is directed by Richard Rophorst, and it takes place in the closing days of World War II. The story follows a group of Russian soldiers who stumble upon a deranged scientist's underground lair. This Dr. Frankenstein isn't stitching together human parts in a lab. He's creating monstrous biomechanical abominations, using the bodies of dead soldiers. Shot in a found footage style, the movie thrives on its inventive and terrifying creature designs. Each creature is more disturbing than the last. While it's not conventionally scary in the jump scare sense, the relentless pace and grotesque visuals create a sense of nightmarish unease. Horror fans have praised its creativity and commitment to its insane premise, making it a cult favorite among those who like their scares mixed with over-the-top gore. Anything for Jackson. Released in 2020 and directed by Justin G. Dyke, Anything for Jackson is an outstanding example of the possession genre. Instead of teenagers dabbling with a Ouija board, we have an elderly couple played brilliantly by Sheila McCarthy and Julian Richings. The couple kidnap a pregnant woman to perform a reverse exorcism in hopes of bringing back their deceased grandson. What starts as a sinister but oddly tender act slowly develops into chaos as supernatural forces come into play.
No one has more time than a grieving family.
We can do this.
He's coming back to us.
The scares here are unexpected, with several inventive and genuinely creepy ghost encounters that horror fans have praised. The film's pacing is tight, balancing its more emotional beats with sharp bursts of terror. It premiered at Fantasia Film Festival and quickly earned a reputation as one of the best modern supernatural horrors, thanks to its originality and the unsettling charm of its lead characters. Titane.
She's not there. Well, let me tell you about the way she looked, the way she acted.
Julia Ducournau's. Titane is a film you experience as much as you watch. This is a surreal blend of body horror and psychological drama. The cast includes Agatha Roussel, who plays Alexia, a woman with a titanium plate in her head after a childhood car accident. Alexia develops an unsettling connection to cars, both emotionally and physically. After committing a series of brutal crimes, she assumes a false identity and hides with a grieving fire captain.
Late to say you're sorry. How would I know? Why should I care? Please don't bother.
From there, the film spirals into unpredictable territory, featuring identical trauma and transformation. Ducournau, who won the Palme d'Or at Cannes for Titane, crafts scenes that are as beautiful as they are disturbing. The body horror is intense, yet it's the emotional vulnerability beneath the madness that makes the film linger. Praised for its boldness, Titane is unforgettable, whether you love it or recoil from it. The Devil's Business.
Stand, that's all.
I never meant no one to get hurt. I swear.
The Devil's Business is a 2011 horror masterclass in slow burn tension. Sean Hogan's film follows two hitmen on a job that seems straightforward at first. The job is to break into a man's home and wait for him. But as the night stretches on, strange and unsettling events unfold, hinting at something far more sinister than a simple assassination. The film relies heavily on dialogue and atmosphere rather than gore or jump scares. The tight runtime and intimate setting amplify the sense of claustrophobia, and by the time the supernatural elements reveal themselves, you're already on edge.
I was just doing my job.
And a very fine job it is. Everyone needs a night off now and then.
It's a low-budget indie that uses its limitations to great effect, proving that horror doesn't need elaborate effects to get under your skin. The final moments are haunting, leaving a lingering chill long after the credits roll. If you're a fan of minimalist, tension-driven horror, you will surely find this unnerving to watch. The House that Jack Built.
Commit in our fiction are those inner desires which we cannot commit in our controlled civilization. So they are expressed instead through our art.
The House That Jack Built is less of a horror movie and more of a descent into a murderer's mind. Directed by Lars von Trier, the film came out in 2018. Matt Dillon delivers one of his career best performances as Jack, a meticulous serial killer, recounting his crimes over a 12-year period. Structured like a series of disturbing vignettes, the film turns atrocity into something artistic. The film often pushes the audience's tolerance to its limits. The film combines graphic violence and psychological manipulation with a cold, clinical narration. It creates something deeply unsettling. The film premiered at Cannes, where it shocked even the fans of horror films. Dillon's chilling portrayal anchors the chaos, making Jack both repulsive and disturbingly compelling. The ending brought some allegories, cementing the film as a nightmare more than a traditional horror. It's the kind of movie that's hard to recommend yet impossible to forget. Grafted.
Everyone is going to love me.
Grafted comes from New Zealand's indie horror scene with a skin-crawling dive into body horror directed by Sasha Rainbow. This 2024 horror follows two women who undergo an experimental cosmetic procedure that promises miraculous results. But the side effects are far worse than what they could have imagined. Their bodies begin to change in grotesque and uncontrollable ways. The film uses practical effects to great, horrifying impact, making every transformation feel horrifying and real.
Look at you. You look ridiculous.
What have you done?
Beneath the gore lies a sharp commentary on beauty standards that criticizes consumerism and the human desire for perfection. While it's a relatively small-scale release, Grafted earned attention on the festival circuit for its relentless commitment. The performances are strong, grounding the insanity in believable human emotion. By the time the credits roll, you're left both horrified and oddly moved, questioning what price people will pay to look better. Savageland.
Playing with film, you can tell. You look at these pictures, there's none of that. You own a gun? I do.
Savageland takes the faux documentary format and uses it to chilling effect. Presented as an investigative true crime piece, the film examines a massacre in a small Arizona border town, with the sole suspect being a Mexican immigrant named Francisco Salazar. Through interviews, police reports, and, most disturbingly, a series of eerie photographs, the film reveals layers of horror that suggest something supernatural was at play.
Francisco Salazar remains jailed under high security in Heinzman.
The realism of the format makes it more disturbing. It blurs the line between fiction and reality. Instead of jump scares, it crawls under your skin through real-life implications and atmosphere. Horror fans have praised its originality and the way it uses minimal effects to maximum impact. By the end, you're left unsettled, questioning not only what happened, but also the biases and fears that shape the story we're being told. Devil's Pass. Rennie Harlin's Devil's Pass takes inspiration from the real-life Dyatlov Pass incident, the mysterious 1959 tragedy in which 9 hikers died under bizarre circumstances in Russia's Ural Mountains. This 2013 film follows a group of young American filmmakers retracing the expedition, hoping to uncover the truth. Shot in found footage style, the movie builds a chilling atmosphere as the team ventures deeper into the icy wilderness.
It looked like an accident! Help!
Strange noises, eerie footprints, unexplained phenomena, and all kinds of horror elements lead to a jaw-dropping twist that pushes the story into full-blown sci-fi horror. Audiences praised its tension and unique take on the mystery. The snowy, isolated setting adds a layer of claustrophobia and hopelessness, making the scares land even harder. It's a film that blends real-world intrigue with genre thrills, leaving you both entertained and a little unnerved.